Well, babies, the time has officially arrived for us to open the Hateful Comments album. Let's get into it. Hello babies and welcome back to my channel. I'm David, you're David, we're all David, and welcome to Dismantling Hate, the series where we look at some hateful online rhetoric, and today is going to look a little bit different. We're going to be reading some silly comments. The part of the show where David comes out and reads the silly comments. You know, because you've seen other creators make videos like this, the reading mean comments, the reading hateful comments. A lot of the comments that we're going to look over today are not necessarily hateful, they're more stupid than they are hateful, but the word I've landed on is silly, so we're gonna have a look at some silly comments here today. I'm not going to be blurring the usernames of any of the people that made these comments on my YouTube videos because it is frankly a public platform, and if you're gonna be silly online on my public channel, I'm gonna share that with all of you. So before we get started, please don't go be hateful to these folks. I don't think that's actually gonna help what we're trying to do here. Well, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to laugh, but we're also trying to get a look into the psyche of these individuals who just leave some of the most nonsensical comments that exist out here on the internet. And if you're going to leave me some hateful comments, make them good, make them funny so I can monetize them here on my channel. So thanks for all of your input out there, you loonies. Okay, yep. Okay, babies, we're gonna start with the most wild one, honestly, and I kind of thought about taking this one off of my profile, but after I slept on it, I was like, no, this is actually hilarious, and I want to talk about it on film. So, the first one up is from user-ng2re6wp50, and they said, "You need a haircut, wash your hands, and cut your nails. You're very nasty." LOL, clean up friend. Now listen here. Because as a creator who's putting your stuff online, you need to be okay and you need to be ready and willing to deal with some nonsense like this. This one wasn't particularly pleasing for me to read, but it's really interesting because I do have a little bit of context to supply for this comment. So my hair in this video, it was very voluminous. I do have big curly hair. And as I run my fingers through my hair, it does create volume throughout the filming day. So yeah, my hair was bigger than it is right now, but I will not be getting a haircut simply because I don't want to. The wash your hands one. You know what? If we're going to be out here and we're going to be vulnerable on this channel here together, you and me right now, right here, yeah, I have struggled with smoking cigarettes for essentially the last decade. It's been about 14 days since I've had a cigarette last, so I'm feeling very proud of that, but I did have the nicotine stains on my fingers right there. They're gone now. And it's not like you can just wash that off either. That had to come off in time. But it's just, I remember watching the video after it went live and I was like, oh wow, I definitely have some nick stains there. That's a little awkward, but you know what? It is what it is. And then cut your nails. No, I won't be doing that because I like painting them and I like having long nails because you can't tell me what to do with my body. How about that? And then I just love that it's like, LOL, sorry, clean up friend with a smiley face. Like I wanted to open with that one because this one is one of the funniest in my opinion. And then of course my comment below that is no, I won't be doing that. Won't be doing that. All right, so the next one by Robot Wizard 007 says, I thought LGBTQ plus community says you cannot talk about women problem if you're not a woman. I would rather listen to a woman about what women issues rather than a gay man who doesn't know what a woman is. Okay, few problems right off the hop. Let's get into this. First of all, I'm not a gay man. Neither of those things are true for me. While I understand the sentiment of I'm not a woman, so why would I be talking about women's issues? But as somebody who is a part of the world who exists alongside women every day, why wouldn't I use my voice to uphold women and support them throughout the issues and discrimination that they face on a daily basis? I understand that I'm not a woman, but I also support women, you know? Like I'm out here advocating for women's rights. So that's why I'm talking about this, is because deep in my soul, I have a hatred for misogyny. So I am going to continue to use my voice to talk about women's issues. And I responded to them and I said, well, in this case, the woman issues are influenced by the poor behavior of men. So I should be perfectly positioned to discuss that, Robert. It's funny. The reason that I said Robert is because I thought Robot Wizard said Robert Wizard, because I had a little dyslexic moment there, but it actually really worked because you can just refer to all of these bland, discriminatory men with some sweeping name like Jeff or Carl or Alan or Robert. It's just, you're all in the same category to me, or just hateful men. The next one by OBJ5449 says, name a video, how to find a husband Husband with Pearl, Dismantling Hate, episode 27. That's my video title. And they said, not trying to be a butt, with one T, head. However, you do a lot of name calling and baiting. How can that dismantle, with no E, hate? Left at, and then they mark the time that they left at, which is 2:10. And I went to that timestamp of 2 minutes and 10 seconds thinking that maybe I said something like outlandish and that's what made this person leave the video. But no, it was a really basic, kind of inconsequential moment in the video. And then I commented and said, hope you find something you like, bestie. That's the thing though. If you don't like my content, you don't have to be here. But if you stop and make a comment, that pushes me farther in the algorithm. So I used to think like, oh my God, these people are being hateful to me and they don't like my content. What am I gonna do with my life and my career, baby? Like, no. It doesn't matter. You're not going to be for everybody, and that's kind of the point. I'm in my YouTube studio right now, so it's taking me a while to scroll through the beautiful comments that are here, and I do want to take a moment and say how much I appreciate y'all who are actually engaging with my content in really meaningful ways and being kind to me, talking with me, having these conversations in the comments. So for all of these like stupid, hateful, silly, I believe was the word, comments that exist, there's so many good ones. So it's not all one-sided, but it has taken me a minute to really collect enough bad and negative comments in order to make this video. Oh, is this the one? Okay. Oh God. Okay, this is the long one. Okay, strap in, bestie. This is gonna take a minute for me to walk you through what happened with this one. So I published a video. It was the Pride edition of Dismantling Hate, where I looked at, you know, the two hateful Christian witch sisters, Bethany and whoever, I don't know. But they were just talking about the Target Pride line and how Pride is sinful, and you know, you get the vibe. If you want to go, you can go watch that if you're interested in the context beyond that, but you probably understand what I'm talking about. So this comment is from Thomas8941, and it says, okay, buckle up, here we go. She's not against gay people, she's against advertising being gay, as children don't even need to know what being gay is, and Target, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon are advertising this to children. It's just such a mess. The grammar is a freaking mess with most of these, but we're not surprised. Without a capital, it is also inappropriate to have at the very front, not to mention some stores have gender nonconforming swimsuits, and these are concepts children don't need to know. I also find it disturbing that there are Pride products being sold to babies. You do not see anyone pushing your kids to be Christian on a wide scales, unlike Pride. All right. Your point on t-shirts, don't make people gay, can also be debunked. If a child is raised in a household where they are encouraged to be gay, they will have a higher likelihood to be gay because children are stupid and moldable. I'm personally an atheist, and I know that God, if he is real, doesn't hate gay and trans people. He finds it morally disturbing. Oh, God. Not to mention, gay people are more likely to be groomers. I am doing a very skin-deep analysis on this video out of boredom. However, I want your content to be better. I think instead of watching this video and saying what's on your mind isn't a very good format, you should try watching the video first, writing a script, and do proper research for your points. If you need better help with this format, you should watch, think before you sleep. Oh, God, there's so much there. There's so much to talk about there, right? It's just weaponized incompetence at this point. So, okay, I went in. There's so much to say. Everything that you're thinking right now, yeah, I went in and probably said that. So here was my response to this man. Thanks for the comment, Thomas. Lots to dismantle here because, you know, it's branding. We're branding. Fundamentally, she does believe being gay is a sin, so she is against queer folks. The idea that children need to be hidden from queerness is asinine, considering... I love that word, asinine. It sounds like a swear word, but it's not. You can use it in professional contexts. It's great. Considering they are around heteronormativity constantly, being gay is not that different from being straight, and it's harmful to only show one side of the equation to anyone, especially people who are queer and don't have positive support systems. Children are not stupid. And I think that's the biggest difference between our perspectives. Moldable? Yes, but not stupid in the slightest. It's not common for people to be persuaded into being gay if they are not. You don't see people pushing kids to be Christian, in quotation marks, because that's what he said, is the most out-of-touch statement in your comment. There are communities of people who dedicate their lives to convert people into their religions. Gay people are not more likely to be groomers. Show me the research that shows that. It doesn't exist. It's not a difference of opinion, it's a difference of reality. And unfortunately, your reality seems to be grounded in delusion. Hope that helps, Purple Heart. So that might seem like I put a lot of time and effort into that, and I'm going to say that probably took me up to and including about 3 minutes. But Thomas was a quick responder. Thomas was quick in the reply. So he said, God, it's just one big run-on sentence. Like, can somebody go back to English in grade 4 and really just help this person construct a sentence, because it's a mess here. So Thomas responded and he said, I said you do not see people pushing religion onto kids on a wide scale. Door knockers and churches, yes. Ads on kids shows, no. Oh, I see. There's no punctuation, so I don't know how to read this. Door knockers and churches, yes. Ads on kids shows, no. Can somebody show this man a comma? Anyway, I'm not saying kids shouldn't learn about the concept of being gay and what that is. I'm saying they don't need to learn it from cartoons, Target, or schools. That's something the parents should tell them when they are older, not 5 and 7. Once again, she doesn't hate gay people. A sin is a moral condemnation of a concept, which doesn't mean she hates the people who have that lifestyle. Which I also see that once someone responds with research, you do not answer, which is strange. However, I will still provide my source after I find it in my army of bookmarks. All right, cool. And maybe what he's talking about when it comes to people showing research, which nobody has ever linked a research article in my comment section, with the exception of this man. That's where this is heading. It gets so much worse than what it is right now, if you can possibly imagine. My protocol for hateful comments like this, or not hateful, like stupid, lunacy comments like this, is that you get one. You get one response from me. I will calmly and collectively share my response with you, explain to you in a professional way why you're out to lunch, and then that's all you get from me. You can keep coming back and saying whatever. It doesn't matter to me, because I'm not here to change that specific person's mind. I would be here until midnight if that was the case. And girl, I got things to do. So you get one from me and that's it. This man did, however, get more than one from me, because he kept going. Oh my God, this one is so long. Okay, prepare yourself, because this next one is so freaking long. Okay, and I don't see a single period. Oh, I see one. Fundamentally, believing being gay is a sin is not hate. It is a moral condemnation of homosexuality. The idea that children do not need to be hidden from queerness isn't asinine, since they don't need to learn what the concept of being gay is while simultaneously learning how to spell their own name. They should be older than the target demographic of cartoons. God, this is a mess. Okay, I don't even know where I left off, because it's literally just one big run-on sentence. Okay, the target demographic, going to Target with mom, and these concepts should not be taught by cartoons or Target. This should be a talk between the child and a parent at a good age. Children are stupid, and saying that they aren't is a blatant lie. How do I know they're stupid? Because they believe unicorns exist. It is common for people to be persuaded into being gay, since if you are adopted into a gay household, you are more likely to be gay. You left out an important part of my argument, which is not on as large a scale. You don't see mainstream cartoons blatantly Christianity. Fuck, this is poorly written. Okay, you left out an important part of my argument, which is not on as large a scale. You don't see mainstream cartoons blatantly Christianity, like how they blatantly advertise being gay by showing that gay children receive more recognition and praise, which children gravitate towards. Gay people are more likely to be groomers, according to this UCLA study by Lara Semple, Tamara Rice-Lave, May 2022, and then he quotes the title, LGBTQ people on the sex offender registries in the US. However, you might read the actual rates of child grooming and think, hey, LGBTQ rates are lower, when in reality they are higher once you account for the fact that they are at least 6% at most of the US population that today's 2 years ago it was more likely, not to mention even without accounting for population difference, they are already more likely to distribute and own CP. Gay cops are also more likely to commit sex offenses, and the incarceration rate is higher by 10% for LGBTQ sex offenders, which doesn't mean they are being targeted, which doesn't mean they are being targeted. It means they most likely committed more heinous crimes. Oh my God, there's another one. I forgot all of this. I think I blocked it out. Thomas is really giving me a run for my money here. Stay with me. We're almost done. It does get better. And then he comments again and says, believing the concept of homosexuality as a sin is not hate, it is a moral condemnation of said concept. He's now said the same sentence 3 times. I don't know what you think you're doing here. Finally, we have some paragraphs. He's learning. Oh, the children are learning. Children do not need to learn the concept of being gay or trans at the age where you are watching cartoons that blatantly advertise being gay. Kids like attention. They enjoy being praised, so they see that gay kids receive special attention and think, hey, I want attention. Kids should learn about homosexuality at an older age. Saying that children aren't stupid is a blatant lie. Children believe in dragons and unicorns and don't understand political ramifications and the concept of consequences. I think you mean you don't see people pushing kids to be Christian on a larger scale. Yes, people are pushed into religion, but not by Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Target, or the American education system. I don't know what this man has against Nickelodeon, but somebody, well, oh God, yeah, now that that documentary came out, we can all have something against Nickelodeon, but I don't think they're, like, was SpongeBob gay? Was he putting up posters saying, hey kids, come be gay? I don't think he was saying that. It's almost like he took the previous comment, put it into an AI generator, and just said, can you make me sound less dumb? And then it spat out this one, and then this is what he said. So then he quotes the same study again, and then says, gay people are incarcerated at higher rates than straight people for sexual offenses, which is most likely due to committing more heinous crimes. Gay people are more likely to produce their own CP. Gay cops are more like, yeah, you literally said all of this already. If we run the numbers so it's fair in comparison to the fact that they are at most 6% of the population, gay people are more likely to commit sexual offenses involving children. Holy cats, it just goes on and on and on. So at this point, I thought, okay, I'll bite, Thomas. I'll bite. I'll see what's going on here. I'll read this study and I'll see what it has to say. Because now at this point, this is basically journalism. I need to actually go ahead and read this document, and it was long. And I will admit that I spent over an hour scanning this document, going over everything, comparing what it said and comparing what Thomas was saying to me in the comments, because I wanted to see if what he was saying was actually supported by this article. Spoiler, it wasn't at all. Like, not even a little bit. So this is what I said back. There's a lot of time you're spending here weaving your misinformation into a thought process that is barely clinging to logic. I'm not sure which cartoons you watch, but it seems like they have really affected you. I read that study you cited, and almost nothing you said was in that article. If anything, this study disproves what you are saying so simply with passages like these. And then this is in quotes, because I literally copy and pasted this one paragraph from the study that disproved more than half of what he was saying in his previous comments. Throughout the 20th century, policymakers have used the stereotype of the gay male P word, which research has refuted to gain support in criminalizing the actions of LGBTQ individuals. Such prejudice may continue to lead an overrepresentation of LGBTQ people within the criminal justice system. And then I followed it up with, I don't respond to comments like yours to argue with you or change your mind. I do it for the folks who are reading them and need practice opposing people who, like you, are either weaponizing your own incompetence or deliberately lying. Either way, it's disgusting behavior. And you know, babies, if you want to go read that study, you now know the title. You can go and find it. It was very easily accessible. Go read what it says. Nothing what this man Thomas was talking about. If anything, it pretty much completely disproves everything that he was saying. But if you're interested in more of that, go ahead and read that for yourself. But let's have a look at Thomas's final comment, because this was the come to Jesus moment where I thought, okay, I just wasted my time. This is why I shouldn't have deviated from my protocol of only giving people like this one response from me and then leaving it. Because I thought, I finally refuted this man, right? Everything that he said was wrong. I took his own article and threw it back in his face and went, you're an idiot, right? Respectfully, professionally. And this is what he said. Misinformation, you are simply ignoring the point I made. That sentence is from a UCLA study, which, lest we forget, is Californian and are racist against white people. I have taken care of kids before, and in one of these cartoons, which are based around children, there are 3 different gay relationships, with the oldest being teenagers and the rest being 5th graders. Even if the study disagrees with my sentiment, they are proving my point. What does that mean? That is immediate doublespeak. Fallacies, logical fallacies, flying past us on the highway. We're going too fast. Thomas is blind on the highway. He's in the driver's seat with his eyes closed, okay? I mean, we knew that. We're not surprised, but oh my God, this man was so dumb. Okay, not to mention, I offered constructive criticism because I want to see you make better content, because I don't hate you. I disagree with you. I disagree with the way you make content, and I believe that it leads to an echo chamber if you don't give the opposite side credit. You view them entirely as the bad guy. I do not see the Democratic Party or the woke way of thinking the bad guy. I see them as kids who have been misled and mistaken, and all I wish is that they aren't being taken advantage of. My light just turned off, but god damn it, I'm getting to the end of this. And all I wish that they aren't being taken advantage of, for example, by Ukraine, Hamas, Osama bin Laden. That's how he ended that. I do have a lot to say, but it's nothing new. And if you've seen any of my Dismantling Hate videos, I've already talked about all of these things. So I'm not necessarily going to take a large amount of time here to talk through how all of this is nonsensical. But the fact is that this man provided me a research paper that he thought was proving all of his hateful takes and his discriminatory ideologies as if it was this big gotcha moment. And then I spent the time actually reading it and soaking in all of that information because it's supported my ideologies, because I'm not a hateful person. It's actually quite simple. It's not that complicated at all. I'm just not discriminatory, and I don't judge people and shame them based off of things that they can't control. It's really not that deep. It's really not that deep. Thomas, it's not that deep. Just like, you don't put on a t-shirt and then that's how you're gay. You don't watch a gay couple on Nickelodeon and then come out as gay even though you're not, just because you want the positive attention of folks. If anything, you're getting negative attention. I don't know why I'm whispering, but I'm still in that mindset of, Thomas, you are an idiot. And this is not me hating on Thomas, except it's kind of me hating on Thomas. Like, I don't think it's necessarily his fault, but I think he's grown up in circles that people just weren't educated, right? And the way that he's talking about children and their development and that, it just shows that he doesn't have any experience working with children or understanding how the human brain works, which I don't really expect him to do as a random whoever off of the street. Of course, I don't know what his background is, but I don't hate Thomas. I do disagree with Thomas, but Thomas, if you're out there, if you're watching this, Thomas, thanks for the content, because holy cats, we're at 34 minutes of filming this video, and I think this is a great example of how people in the world can be so blind to their own discrimination and violently uphold their beliefs that just on a fundamental level not only don't make sense, but are refuted by actual clinical studies and data. Thomas, what the hell? Okay, so I have a handful of other comments here that I just want to bring your attention to. They're definitely not as long or as deep as Thomas, because, oh yeah, Thomas is really winning the game here for nonsensical comments, but there are a few others that just don't make any sense, and I want to read them here. So, Ivan Barrios 4109 says, I would never leave children alone near this person. This person being me, presumably. Trans with hands. Yay, trans with hands. Hi. They came out and said, you should probably sit down and be less loud. And I responded, and why is that, Ivan? Like, I actually wanted to know what his reasoning was. I do believe I was wearing makeup in that video, but if you see something as feminine as something that is dangerous, I think that's misogynistic. And ultimately, when we come down to it, I am a certified teacher. I have the experience and I have the education. I'm halfway through a master's of education right now with a specialization in neuroscience. So someone that has worked as a teacher, I read that and thought, like, it just doesn't make any sense that people leave this kind of hateful stuff. And ultimately, who is this? Ivan doesn't know who I am, which is fine, but people will just say anything just to, I don't know if it's to get a rise out of you or to just be stupid online. I don't know. And then they responded, I wouldn't leave children alone with a normal person, let alone with a weirdo. So we're backpedaling a little bit. Yeah, I wouldn't leave children alone with anybody. Like, it's just... Okay, you wouldn't leave children alone with anyone. Like, I don't have kids. But if I had kids, there would be adults that I would be willing to leave my children alone with. My partner, namely, would be one of them. I don't know. I would trust their teachers. It would have nothing to do with if they're gay or straight or wear makeup or not. It would be my own discernment and critical thinking skills and experiences of this person that would deem whether I would think they are appropriate to be around my children in a setting where it's just the two of them. Not everything is nefarious in nature. Anyway, and he just called me a weirdo, and then I said, good talk, thumbs up, and then he responded the emoji. I'm like, okay, thanks for being here. Like, what the hell? This one here from Duruntotin6163 says, you are hard to look at. Nice. And I said, good to know, Nails. It's not really creative, but okay, it's just calling me ugly. The rest of these are just like small and simple. It says Yami Borges 5540 says stop, And I said, no. Anonymous Adept says, weirdo. And I responded, me when I'm weird, because I am a weirdo when I'm being weird, you know? Okay, I have 2 more interactions to show you. Mike Williams, 6025 says, the only trouble with conversion therapy is that it wasn't strong enough. It was led by desperate and untrained people. Science and psychology failed people who identify as queer by enabling them, but people are not born gay. The vast majority are socialized into by media and sexual trauma. There is no gay gene. There is no intrinsic orientation. It was started by a political movement. Those are the facts. Do with them what you will. Okay, Mike, those are the facts. And I responded and said, hi, Mike, being gay is not a choice and people are born that way. The research is pretty clear on that. To say that conversion therapy wasn't strong enough is a pretty ignorant thing to say, but I have a feeling you already knew that. Something too about Mike's comment that I want to mention before we move on is that he puts 2 spaces in between the end of each sentence and the start of the next one, which does imply to me that Mike is a boomer. There's no other way to say that, because a lot of those folks, when they moved through the school systems, they were taught to put 2 spaces at the end of a sentence before the start of the next one, which isn't grammatically correct anymore. And just call me a snowflake who's triggered, because I find that most people that type out like that are old boomers with hateful ideologies. And you know what? It's serving that here. Oh God, okay, I lied. I still have 2 more. This one by PartsGuy92 says, what in all the fucks am I looking at? And me would be what he was looking at. And I said, LOL, I get that all the time. I do kind of love messing with people a little bit. Most folks, however, do not come back to my responses, and there's no engagement with that comment that I make, which is very comforting as a content creator. And if you're out there thinking, how do I deal with all of these mean comments? Most people don't come back. They're there to be hateful in the moment because they're just taking it out on you because they hate themselves. Ooh, I said it. And they're not interested in what you have to say because they can't really refute anything that I say, at least in a logical way. If we're talking logic, it doesn't work. Okay, there's one more that I want to talk about, but I just can't find it. Okay, I got it. So here's the deal with this one. I put out a reel from my podcast episode, Detox Season 2, Episode 5, and I was talking about being high maintenance. And in the video, I painted myself purple in drag because I wanted to be high maintenance for the high maintenance podcast episode. It's branding, you get it. And on the short, Forgotten, with a 0 in there, said, just know, please. Okay, whatever. And then I responded and said, ha ha ha, thanks, babes. And then somebody else came in and said, man's a bitty man. This is the outcome of not having a masculine father around. And I thought, bitty man? I don't even know if that's how you say it. BTTY man is the outcome of not having a masculine father around. And then I responded and said, it's like you're my therapist. Not that we're going to talk about my experiences with that, but I just thought that was funny. But anyway, I was like, what does bitty man mean? I don't know what that means. From what I can glean from my quick Wikipedia search is that in a Jamaican context, it is a slur often used to refer to a gay man or an effeminate man. It's also used in Belize owing to the popularity of the Jamaican music there. The term derives from the Jamaican slang word baddie, which refers to buttocks. It is a slur and considered offensive. So, okay, I mean, he's just calling me a which would really be the cultural equivalent of bitty man or whatever he's saying. But what's interesting is that he made that comment. I'm looking at it in my studio right now, but when I went onto actual YouTube and viewed it in my own account, I couldn't see that comment. And I thought, that's weird. And then I thought, it's probably okay that that comment is not there anymore, but I didn't delete it. I've deleted comments before, but I did not delete that one because I could never see it, even though it's still in my studio, until I realized that YouTube took down the visibility of it because they have it pinged as an offensive word. It's because I'm sure there is AI that scans the comments of videos and hides comments that are discriminatory, rude, use slurs. So I didn't even take this down, but I couldn't see it. But he's not done, because then he commented separately on that same reel 4 separate times. First, he said, man's a bitty man, this is the outcome of not having a masculine father around. Then he said, man's a bitty man, this is the outcome of not having a masculine father around. Then he said, man's a bitty man, this is the outcome of not having a masculine father around. And then he said, stop deleting my comment, Fishmon. Is that me, Fishmon? Hi, it's me, Fishmon. And then I responded and I said, I didn't delete your comment. It was probably the slur you used that made YouTube take it down. And then, of course, he didn't respond to that, because that was just the end. But yeah, it's really interesting because all of those separate comments are visible in my studio. But if I go look on my actual YouTube page, you can't see any of those comments, which I guess is nice. But that really threw this man for a loop. Oh wait, what was his username? Let's be sure to say that one out loud. Daisy Berman 0929. That's what Daisy thinks of me. Can't say I particularly care. But anyways, babes, that brings us to the end of this video of me dismantling some of these silly, hateful, stupid, ill-informed, incompetency to the highest level comments. And I do appreciate you getting to the end of this video. I hope it was somewhat entertaining. If you are somebody who is interested in creating content and you're worried about the comments that you're going to receive, I can say that nothing will prepare you for this kind of stuff unless you just dive right in. I wasn't expecting these comments to happen, but they did. And while they did affect me and make me a little bit sad and, you know, a little bit of my feelings from time to time, it does happen and that's okay. But when those comments come knocking at the door, you can open the door, look at them, and then slam the door in their faces. You don't need to invite them in for coffee. You need to realize that you are not for everybody, and that's okay. If people are talking about you in negative ways like that, I'm not really under the impression that all press is good press, but I know that I am making a difference, even if it's just for the folks that are reading my responses to these hateful comments. Because ultimately, if you're confronted with hateful folks like this in the wild, online, whatever, you don't need to argue with them because you're not going to change their mind. I'm not going to change Daisy's mind. He's going to keep calling me a fishmon until the cows come home. I need to be okay with taking that in and just like setting it aside. It doesn't like, let me just put that into the drawer and close it and never look at it again. You're not arguing to change the minds of those people specifically, but if you do choose to engage in conversation with hateful folks like this, you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for the people who are around. You're doing it for the audience. You're doing it for the folks who maybe haven't made up their minds. So when I engage with hateful content like this, it's not that I'm trying to change their mind. I'm writing it as an additional resource for folks who are reading my responses to those comments, because I believe your effort goes a lot farther when you're focusing it through the lens of this is also for other people. It's not just me in a one-on-one fight with this man, because ultimately a lot of our world are fighting against these topics. And while I can and do have respect for folks who disagree with me, I don't have respect for folks who are just being hateful to me because they don't like what I am saying. So I am taking that as a sign of they have nothing else to say. You're going to talk about my nicotine fingers and how I need to cut my nails and calling me a bitty man because I'm a feminine man. I'm not even gay, girl. Like what the, anyway, doesn't matter. If you have nothing logical to bring to the conversation other than research papers that disprove exactly what you're saying, good God, Thomas, get it together. If you don't have anything of value to add to the conversation, you do have to resort to calling people slurs. So it makes sense. It's not nice to read, but I can't say I particularly care anymore. So yeah, sometimes you got to dive right on in and eventually it'll start meaning less to you. Because as a content creator, I am purporting myself as a public figure. I'm putting myself out there online for people to interact with. So I have to be okay with getting crappy comments like that. And I don't care. It makes for more content. I can monetize your hate. So if you're going to leave some hateful ones in the comments, do it. Make it funny. Give me more content, girl. You know how easy this video was to make? It's fantastic. I loved it. No research, just my own YouTube studio. And thank God for that. Anyway, babies, thank you so much for getting to the end of this video. I really appreciate you and that you're here. If you want to leave some nice comments, I'd love that as well. I love responding and talking with people in the comments, and I love the community that I'm slowly growing here with all of you. I do notice those usernames that are commenting on my things every now and again, and those of you who are staying for the journey. So I see you. I appreciate you. You look great today. And until the next one, goodbye. Can we get a wellness check on Thomas? I swear. Wait, is Thomas my father? No, that's a joke. Oh God, okay.